guys, and welcome to a brand new video where today we are going to be looking at this, which is the YONGNUO YN360 version 2. So if you're wondering what on earth is this thing, and no, before you comment, unfortunately it's not a lightsaber. I really wish it was. It kind of looks like a lightsaber, but it's not. It's basically a light panel, an LED light panel. It has daylight and tungsten LEDs and also RGB LEDs, which means red, green and blue colored LEDs inside of this. And basically it's used for photography and for filmmaking. This has a built-in 5200 milliamp battery, which on full power on these LED settings, it can last for 4 hours. And then if I change it now to like the daylight or tungsten setting on full power, which they're super bright, can last for about 2 hours. So depending on what color, really blinded me, depending on what LEDs you're using depends on how long the battery's gonna last. And as you can tell, these LEDs are very, very bright. The daylight and tungsten LEDs are pretty much twice as bright as the RGB LEDs. That's why it lasts for about half the amount of time on this setting than it does on this setting. As you can see, this is like not as bright as this setting, which is a shame. I just wish the RGB lights were as bright as the daylight and tungsten. It's not a deciding factor that I wouldn't get it because of that, because the main reason I bought this light was because of the RGB lights. I want to use it for music videos and stuff, and I don't think it's bothering me that much. I just wish that the RGB lights were brighter than they actually are. And like I said, it actually has a built-in battery, so it no longer has a detachable battery. So it obviously comes with a plug as well. So you can use this to charge up the light, and it goes from 0 to 80% battery in about 80 minutes, which they class as a quick charge. But you can run it directly off of the wall socket as well. So you could run this thing all day and all night just through this device. But one thing to point out is when I got sent mine, they sent me a European plug. So I actually have to use a UK like adapter for this plug as well, so it's obviously quite big. But another good thing as well is it comes with a carry case, so we can actually put this light into the carry case, which is, you know, really nice. It's not the most expensive carry case, it's just nice that it's not going to get bashed or scratched or whatever when you're kind of carrying this around. The worst thing about this is the plug which they supply doesn't fit into the carry case. If they made this carry case literally an inch or two bigger, then the plug would fit in. But at the moment, unfortunately, there's just no way that's going to go in, which is just a shame, because if we're going to be carrying this around, I have to carry this in a separate bag. The tripod mount is here, so we can put it on a tripod or a light stand. On the very top, we have the charging port where our charger will plug into, and also the on and off switch. But the charging port is on top here. So it's on a tripod, and the cable has to run up past the light. I just don't know why this cable couldn't plug in with all of the buttons down here. It just seems that this is a wasted cable, so when we plug it into the wall. And also having the cable in the top means that if it is plugged in, that it becomes top heavy, because the cable has to run. To me, it doesn't make sense that it's not plugged in down here. So going back to the actual light itself, it's actually a very, very easy light to use. It's not complicated at all. There's literally 4 buttons on the back. You have an RGB button, which basically means it cycles through the red, green and blue LEDs. I can turn red all the way up, go through to blue, turn the blue up, and we get this really nice kind of like purpley sort of color here. But we can really choose what color we actually want to see, so we can reduce the red, so it's going to be more blue. You know, we can go into the green and add a nice bit of green to get this kind of nice aqua color as well. You have a battery button to see how much percentage battery you have left. You can use this button to switch between daylight and tungsten LEDs, so we can really choose the actual brightness and what kind of white balance light we actually want to see. And finally, you have fine and coarse. If I put it onto fine now, we can scroll through it literally 1% at a time, so we can keep scrolling and we go all the way up to 99%. If I put it onto coarse, it basically jumps down in 10% intervals, so super quick. We can go from super bright to off, So let's talk about the actual light itself and the design of it. And as we can see, it's a solid piece of kit. It's not really bending or anything at all. The plastic is very, very hard. It potentially might break if we drop it onto concrete, but it doesn't feel like it's going to. I don't want to just throw it on the floor just in case it does break, but overall it feels like it's a nice design piece of kit. And one really cool thing as well was these lights actually come with their own app, which is just a free app on the App Store, and I can just scroll my finger across this kind of color wheel and I can choose whatever color I want, and it's automatically updating without me actually having to touch the light itself. So if you're actually on a film set and you want to position these in very odd or peculiar kind of positions, you don't want to have to keep running in and going on the wheel on the back and changing the actual color you want. Connected to your phone, you can literally just change the color, you know, between scenes, or even when you're filming something, maybe you're filming a music video, you can literally get someone to be changing the colors off camera themselves, going to the music. You can literally just pull your finger around and it's just going to update the colors, which I think is a very, very cool thing. Another con would be the light seems to be weighted funny, and as it's round, the light always points up. So if you want to angle the light, you'll actually have to wedge it with something else or use a bit of gaffer tape to stick it into place. Also, as the light source is quite narrow, it's quite a harsh light, so you might need to soften it or not use it on full power if you're using it for a main light, but it works absolutely perfect for a key light. And finally, a major pro for me is that this light doesn't flicker at all. So shooting this at 200 frames a second, we don't get any flicker or any weird pulsing effect. And I think the final pro would be the actual price of this light, and you can pick up one of these for about £119. Now, that might sound quite a lot to some of you, but when you compare it to other lights which are on offer, especially RGB type of lights, this is actually quite a cheap light, and also it comes with the carry case and the charger itself as well. And for me, the pros definitely outweighed the cons. That is why I ended up getting 2 of these lights. Now, I probably should have said this earlier, but this isn't a paid video, a sponsored video or anything. The company didn't send me these lights, didn't ask me to do a review video. I basically done a lot of research into RGB lights, and I actually bought these out of my own money, got them sent myself. I haven't been asked to make this video. I just thought it was very interesting and kind of an informative video, because other people out there might be like me, where you want to get RGB type lights for music videos and stuff, and for me, I think these are one of the best on the market at the moment. So with all that being said, thank you so much for hanging out and watching today's video. If you found it interesting and informative, make sure you give this video a big fat thumbs up, and if you've got any questions, make sure you comment them in the comment section down below. And if you're interested in getting any of these lights yourself, the link is also in the description down below as well, where you can go over to Amazon and pick up some yourself. Thanks for watching. I will now leave you guys with those 3 very important things, which are, as always, stay happy, stay positive, stay awesome. Goodbye.